What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. My name is Andrew. Today, we got something a little different for you guys. This article, it's a news article from a website called Paranormal Magazine by an author called Project Reveal. I'm not sure exactly if that's the dude's YouTube name or if it's like a pseudonym or something like that. So I'm going to read it. We're going to get into it a little bit, and we're going to see what's going on with it. So let's get right into it. Oh, so here we go. The actual article from Paranormal Magazine, authors Project Reveal. Title is The Conjuring House Controversy, Why Jason Hawes' GoFundMe is Sparking Some Outrage and Drama Behind the Save the Conjuring House, a Secret Investor and Broken Trust. Conjuring House Controversy, Why Jason Hawes' GoFundMe is Sparking Some Outrage and Ethical Headaches in the Paranormal World. The announcement of the paranormal investigator Jason Hawes, known for Ghost Hunters, launching a GoFundMe to purchase the infamous Conjuring House has ignited some criticism within some areas of the paranormal community. On Facebook posts and Reddit community groups, while ostensibly an effort to save the house for the community, a deeper dive reveals a troubling ethical quagmire. Accusations of opportunism and a dangerous precedent for the entire field is speculated online. Hawes himself has admitted to never wanting to buy the house, publicly stating in his disinterest numerous times. His pivot came, he claims, after an impassioned plea from the parent family and former staff to prevent the property from further exploitation. Yet, for many, this sudden change of heart, coupled with the public fundraising campaign, raises more questions than answers. The core of the backlash stems from a few key areas. Critical lack of transparency, the shadow investor, and the private pledge. The recent announcement of a $400,000 pledge, only conditional on public hitting a $600,000 target, is seen as a major red flag for transparency. I kind of noticed this yesterday when I saw Jason's announcement video for it. My main question was, why didn't they just use the GoFundMe? To me, it doesn't seem like they're doesn't seem like a donation, but more of an investment with something being that high. But I kept that to myself because my only concern for the Conjuring House is that it doesn't go to a developer or something like that. The property's been around since like 1736 or something like that. So like America was still under British rule. We were still a British colony when that house was built. So my interest in seeing the Conjuring House saved is that it's just saved and not torn down, because it's a super historical property. By bypassing disclosure, by keeping the pledge off platform, Hawes deliberately bypasses the standard disclosure GoFundMe requires. Although the $400,000 donor could have easily donated through GoFundMe as anonymous so that the general public could not see their name, the organizer, Hawes, would still see their legal name. The choice to make this private pledge is a calculated move to achieve full anonymity, preventing the public from knowing who the major financial backer is, and raising a significant ethical red flag because the public is funding the venture with a secret partner. The conditional investment. Hawes has made it clear that the $400,000 is a private pledge, not affiliated with GoFundMe, and is conditional on the public raising the first $600,000. This means the public's donations are being used to de-risk the private investor, Hawes, and the anonymous party by proving that the fund's viability before they commit their money. That's a valid criticism. I'm not well versed enough and stuff like that. I've never bought property, so I don't know how any of that kind of goes, but to me, that seems like a valid criticism. Concealing a major investment stake, a $400,000 contribution to a $1.5 million venture is financially an investment, not a charitable gift. The concealment of the shadow investor creates significant distrust, as the public is essentially funding a private company where a major financial backer's motives, control, and potential ownership stake are completely unknown. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know how any of this is going to work in the back end. Now, here's my thing. I like Jason. I got into the paranormal field. Specifically, I became an investigator in 2009 because of watching Jason and Ghost Hunters International and Josh Gates and stuff like that. So, like, he was a big reason why I got into the field to begin with. But seeing all this go down, I kind of have questions as to what is actually going on behind it. Like I said, my only interest in the Conjuring House is to make sure that it just doesn't go to a developer group where it's going to get torn down or the lot's going to get torn up or anything like that. I want to see the house saved because of its historical significance, not necessarily because of the paranormal. Because I don't think the Conjuring House is near as paranormal as it comes off as, like, as people made it out to be. But that's just my take on it. The unaddressed family tie, Satori Hawes and Cody Desbiens. The public is rightly concerned because Hawes has not publicly ruled out a future ownership or management role for his daughter and her partner, Satori and Cody. Absence of proof is the problem. The lack of confirmed legal proof that they will get a stake is not a defense. It is a source of criticism. The problem is that Hawes has been vague and non-committal on the subject, only stating that the LLC will be run by those from its history. This ambiguity is viewed as a deliberate omission intended to save the press public debate. So I've seen this question asked numerous times on many a video. Are Satori and Cody going to have anything to do with the house? And if they do, people do not want to donate their money. That's a valid claim, especially within the debunker community, because the debunker community does not like Satori and Cody. I personally don't have a problem with them. They've got their whatever they do. I don't want to call it a grift. I don't know if they've taken money for it. I know that they have a YouTube channel that is more than likely monetized, and they might get paid doing stuff like that. But I cannot speculate on whether or not they've taken money to do their shtick live or not. Besides their tenure at the Conjuring House, where they obviously perform that in front of other people, that's more gray in my opinion. I'm not going to come out and straight call them fakers or say that it's fakery, but the hammer toe technique has been torn apart by several other debunkers. The Fox sisters, who I think originated that in the 1800s, even came out and said that that technique was fake. So I leave that up to you. But the criticism as to whether or not Cody and Satori will have anything to do at all with the Conjuring House is fair criticism. If people don't want to donate because Cody and Satori are going to be there, then that's on the people to not donate. Now, whether Jason should, in my opinion, come out and say whether or not they're going to have something to do with the house or not, even if it's just to, calm people down. Like, no, they're not going to be there. They're not going to have anything to do with it. No ownership, no management. They might visit. Fine. That would certainly put more people at ease. But by keeping it like intentionally vague, he's not really doing any favors for anybody. Controversial history. The need for transparency is amplified by Cody and Satori's previous controversial tenure at the house, which ended amid public accusations of fraudulent investigation methods, the hammer toe technique. Critics believe that this venture is ultimately designed to personally benefit the Hawes family and their brand without having to face scrutiny over the family members' roles. Yeah, so just like I said, it's being kept intentionally vague. Jason could come out and say, hey, they're not going to be management, they're not going to have ownership. They might come around every once in a while and just see how things are going, right? Like, I think that would put a lot more people at ease instead of just keeping it intentionally vague. Number 3, a dangerous precedent: commercializing historical sites with public funds. This campaign sets a dangerous precedent, as many in the paranormal community believe that crowdfunding should not be used to acquire assets for private business use. Many ghost hunters say GoFundMe shouldn't be used for things like buying cars, paranormal equipment, to hire locations, and especially buy haunted houses. The slippery slope. If a prominent figure like Jason Hawes successfully acquires a legendary paranormal location via crowdfunding. Well, legendary paranormal location is to be seen. I don't think there's anything there, but critics fear it will open the floodgates. Smaller local paranormal teams may start setting up their own GoFundMe campaigns to buy local houses that are historic, and people will start to have a problem with it. This creates a situation where valuable historical properties are converted into private, for-profit venues, fueling public resentment and leading to battles over who gets to own a location based on fundraising prowess rather than the true historical preservation efforts. So I've seen this in some of the comments on Jason's live streams and some videos from other channels here on YouTube. Multiple people have come out and said, so if I donate, do I now partially own the Conjuring House or something relative to that, right? The fact of the matter is, if you donate to it, you don't own anything. It's a donation. You're not investing in anything, right? You're not a partner that would have an owning stake in said business. So no, who gets ownership over the property by donations? It would be the people that ultimately buy the property with the donations, not the people who are donating. That to me is rather clear. I don't know where the confusion in that comes, although I understand why people are confused. The celebrity double standard. This campaign essentially makes it okay for Jason, but not okay for others. If an unknown team launched the same campaign, they would face immediate accusation of exploitation, yet Hawes' standing allows him to rally significant support. See, I don't necessarily know that either. I can't say whether or not a local team doing this would benefit or, suffer from a campaign like this. That to me remains to be seen. I can't really say to or against. And 4, exploitation of fan trust and true profit motive. The ethical conclusion is compounded by the fact that the property is being acquired through public sentiment, but will operate as a private enterprise. Abuse of trust and wealth. Critics view this as an exploitation of fan trust, asking his audience to contribute capital for what will ultimately become a private for-profit business venture that will appreciate in value and generate revenue for a celebrity who already has committed to personally matching $1 million. The full financial ecosystem. While the physical house itself is a massive profit generator, the value of the Hawes family extends significantly into ancillary streams, exclusive content creation, brand opportunities, merchandising sales, and leveraging the house's fame for celebrity appearances. The community house illusion. If Hawes succeeds, a donor contributing to the GoFundMe are not buying shares. They are making donations to a private LLC. I've already said that. If the donor later finds themselves unable to afford the entry fee for an investigation or tour, which will be priced over operation costs, insurance, and the LLC's needs, the feeling that their community house is out of reach will lead to significant disappointment and resentment. Yeah, so again, anybody making a donation should not feel like they own a stake in the business. They don't. You're just making a donation. The unnamed criticism and stated price. Hawes has a track record of publicly attacking what he terms bad paranormal business practices, often resorting to thinly veiled criticisms or fly digs against prominent competitors in the field. Now, I've never seen Jason do anything like this. I will say that recently on one of Jay Cart's videos, Jason and Elton kind of got into a little bit. It kind of seemed like Jason was, throwing a dig at Elton. So take that for what it is. I can't speculate or deny that. All I know is what was said in that comment chain. Elton called Jason out for it. Jason came back later, said he wasn't doing it. If they talked in private, I don't know. I don't have access to anything like that. The irony of pricing. The condemnation is argued to be fundamentally disingenuous. While promoting his campaign on a platform of affordability and preserving history, Hawes subsequently confirmed in a public broadcast that investigations at the LLC-owned Conjuring House would be priced at $150 to $250 per person. This per head rate is comparable to or even higher than many commercial haunted attractions he appears to condemn, effectively mirroring the very high-priced commercialization he claims to be trying to stop. Now, I haven't seen Jason actually come out and price the Conjuring House at anything. It would be rather bad business to do that for a property that he doesn't even own yet, for a property that he doesn't know the operating cost to. So I can't say whether or not Jason has actually come out and said that. In my opinion, it would just be bad business if he did. But even then, if he were to be able to get it to 150 to 250 per person, that's still significantly lower. That's like 10 times lower than what it was when Jacqueline Nunez owned it. So that's not too bad. That being said, I can't believe that he would price a house out when he doesn't even own the house or know the operating costs for such a business. The calculated ambiguity. He notably posted a video leveling criticism at other prominent YouTubers who purchased a haunted location and began charging exorbitant rates. While Hawes refused to name the individuals, the target of his attack was obvious to anyone who is widely publicized paranormal news and drama, a context that was being heavily covered by various debunking channels. The refusal to name the subject, critics argue, is a form of dishonesty. I wonder if this is talking about Elton and Matt Rife buying the Conjuring House. The refusal of the subject, critics argue, is a form of dishonesty, allowing him to take the moral high ground without being held accountable for direct public confrontation. The subject of this rhetorical question, how do they know it's about them? No names were mentioned. To deflect criticism is widely seen as a disingenuous attempt to gaslight the discussion. Again, we saw that in the comment section of one of Jay Cart's videos, where I kind of feel like Jason threw a dig at Elton and Matt Rife for the Conjuring House. Elton called Jason out for that. So yeah, I don't know if Jason did put out a video commenting on Elton and Matt buying the Conjuring House, but I could certainly see uno momento, por favore. You guys ever read so much your throat gets all dry and you start coughing? This episode brought to you by Blue Raspberry Sour Patch Kids. Oh, that's the good stuff, dude. So yeah, I don't know if he called them out in the video or not, but I know that he kind of threw a dig at him in the comment section. The delayed philanthropy, the $1 million matching controversy. The perception of manipulation. This significant delay is announcing a $1 million matching pledge immediately raised questions among critics. If Hawes was financially capable and willing to commit up to $1 million of his own money to the cause, many wondered why the campaign was presented as urgent, community-dependent effort from the start. This led to the perception that the initial campaign was designed to validate community demand and collect grassroots funding before Hawes committed his own capital, rather than leading with a strong, transparent financial plan from day one. Valid criticism, but Hawes has come out and said that he wants to community fund in order to keep operating costs down, right? The less of his own money he has to put in, the less money he has to take back out of the business to make his money back, is basically what he's saying there. The question of necessity. The Hawes family initially launched the GoFundMe campaign appealing to the paranormal community to contribute the $1.5 million goal, stating he can't do this alone. Several days after the campaign was launched and thousands of dollars were donated by the public, Hawes announced a significant update and a commitment to personally match every dollar raised up to $1 million. Okay, so yeah, Jason has come out and said that. He has also dropped the amount that he wants to raise. Now he only wants to raise $600,000. That way the anonymous third party, that's not a donation, in my opinion, that's an investment, will come in, which will make $1 million, and then Jason will essentially match the $600,000, which would be 1.2 plus 400,000, which would be 1.6, which I think is what the house needs, or 1.5, I guess is what we're reading here, but that would be more than enough. So I guess there are some valid criticisms in this, but there's also stuff that Jason has addressed. I don't know if Jason is going to see this video. If he does, I would ask Jason, please address the question about Satori and Cody being involved with the house. I know people are upset about that. I know, in my opinion, what your daughter does shouldn't have a bearing on you. She's an adult. She can do what she wants. Whether they're faking or not, I can't say. But please just address whether they will or will not have anything to do with the Conjuring House business if you acquire it. People are genuinely upset that you're being rather vague about that. I can't really say much more. I know you put a lot of people's minds at ease if you would just come out and say yes or no. Yes, she will have involvement. No, she won't. It doesn't matter if they stop by every once in a while. People aren't going to care about that. People are going to care if they are running the business. So, yeah, some valid criticisms in this. Valid criticisms. The whole $400,000 investment, in my opinion, that is an investment. I don't see that as a donation. If it was a donation, it should just be moved through the GoFundMe instead of privately. That is kind of a concern, but it is what it is. You know, he's got to get the money from somewhere. I understand why he wants to do it through GoFundMe. He wants to make sure that the operating costs or his overhead for the property is low enough that he can have reasonable prices and have people come in. I don't know what Elton and Matt priced the Warren house at. I don't particularly care. I know they're running that as a bed and breakfast, so their prices are going to reflect that kind of stuff, along with like parking and stuff like that. And that's a whole different discussion. I don't know Elton personally. I can't speak to his character. I don't know Jason personally. I can't speak to his character. All I can do is voice my concerns while I'm reading this. Whether or not I think it's valid criticism. I think there are valid criticisms in this. Let me know what you guys think down below. Keep it civil. As I said, Jason, if you see it, please address some of these concerns. You can address it down below. You can contact me directly on Instagram or my email, which is in the bio above. Hell, I even follow you on Facebook. You can contact me there, Andrew Stonerock. I will see you guys next time. Peace out.